Hello, Church of Inclusion, TCI family, Jonathan's Refuge, and all of our faithful followers from around the globe. It is a pleasure and honor to be with you all. I apologize about the moving of the camera. I'm in the mountain office, not at the studio, unfortunately, for the last few weeks. And as you can tell, my timer for one of the lights just went out. That's a good clue that I'm not in the studio. But we're going to get through this message pretty quick. So, what I want to talk about, you guys know me. I like to get right into it and start talking. So, I am going to put this down so it doesn't shake so much. And so, forgive me on that. And I'm going to turn on a couple more lights here. There we go. A little more brighter. Hopefully, you didn't have to see those big white glowing legs of mine. So, as we're talking today about love, that's what the message is about. True love. What is love? What does it mean? Well, let me give you some ideas. We're talking about First Corinthians 13. It's in the scriptures in the New Testament for those that aren't familiar. I'm going to kind of go through it with you. The scripture that's talking about love, it describes love as patient, kind, not envious, not boastful, not proud, not rude, not self seeking, not easily angered, not resentful, not rejoicing in wrongdoing, rejoicing with the truth, always protecting, always trusting, always hoping. There's that word hope. I love that word hope. And always preserving. Mm. Love is described as an enduring and never failing. Now, that's really interesting when you think about that scripture. And so, as you start to talk about that, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to me? I have I tell people all the time I love everybody, and I do. I love all of the men that I work with. I got a guy coming out of prison on the 19th, 9 days or something, right? I love this guy. Never physically met him. There's people on the channel right now. I don't know you, but I love you. Liking people's a whole nother thing. You know, when it said right there, when it talked about love is patient, love is kind, never envious, not boastful, not proud, not rude, not self-seeking. Those things are easy for me not to do, but not easily angered. Man, you get me on the freeway, and I'm here to tell you, I was in traffic today, and I was expecting only like an hour down, maybe an hour there of work, and an hour back from there. We're talking 5 hours of 6 hours of my day. It was like every idiot in the world was on the road. Today was the day that true love was supposed to be manifested in JB on the freeway. Well, I'm here to tell you, there was love. It's like the love from Homer Simpson's on the show The Simpsons when he grabs little Bart and goes, I love you. I wanted to reach out a few times and grab some of them car people. And I had one of our executives with us, and I had some people, and I was like, okay, I'm talking about this message tonight about love is kind, love is patient. And I'm laughing because I'm like, I am kind and I am patient and get out of my way. And I'm trying in my head to have this conversation about being kind and patient and not being angered so easily. Interesting. Not resentful. That's easy. That one I've gotten through pretty good in my life. Not rejoicing in wrongdoing. That's something that I know you're wondering. He got some interesting glasses on. Yeah, about the only ones I can find, and they're one of our employees who's thinks it's cute that I have to wear these. But love, love is what? It's not rejoicing in someone's downfall. I I saw one of my church members this week, and one of their family members who hurt them got into a car accident. And they literally were like, yes! And they were rejoicing. That's what you get. And I just shook my head and said, Lord have mercy. You don't know what you just did. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, what you just did is you sowed a seed of evil. You rejoiced in your family members' downfall, in their tragedy. But you don't know what they did to me. I don't. You don't get it. Do you know what people have done to me? Do you know the torture that I've lived through? I will not ever say those rejoicing statements because what I don't want to happen to me, I don't want to have that repercussion come back to me. We reap what we sow. End of story. And when you sow a statement like that, it's going to come back to you. So it's a boomerang. That excitement you said about, ha ha, finally they get what comes to them thing. It's not them that it's coming to, by the way. It's you, buddy. Everything you just did, that is against true love. Because true love is hoping that all people on this earth can find peace and harmony as one with God. I'm in the process of going to Mexico in 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, your bishop's going to be in Mexico. And for the last pretty much 2 months, myself, along with people in the State Department, along with people in my past, a whole slew of interesting folks are involved in this peace process. But it's come about because of who I used to be, the men in that world and women in that world that respect me. And I'm kind of as a bishop, I'm the intermediate person, kind of. It's a very fluid, a very violent world down there. And it's interesting as I was reading the thoughts that I was writing down for my message. And it talks about always hope, because let me continue. It says, rejoicing with the truth. And this is always important. Always protecting, hmm, always trusting. And my favorite right here, always hoping. That's a key to true love. And always preserving love is also described as enduring. Now, that's a word that's important, enduring. So, I'm going to share something. When I was a young man, I ended up in Mexico with a very dear friend of mine. This is 35 years ago, when I was just a teenager. And I can't say what we did, but we were in the wrong place and the battle didn't go our way. And I say battle, and I really mean that. And if you know, I have a neuropathy pretty bad in my hands and feet. This guy, when they take these needles and they get them red hot. And then it's like going through butter, but it's your finger and your toe. And they just shove these needles in. And it's so hot that it just sears. I could smell my flesh right now burning. It's very difficult to even sometimes think of that memory. True love is, for me, a person who had been in that situation being able to forgive that person. If you asked me to do that 30 years ago, oh, 25 years ago, oh, 15, oh, 10, no, it was 8 years ago. It's 2017, 2017, 8 years ago. That's how long it took me to learn the value of this message of true love. Because true love, if I want to experience it, see, that's the problem. I want to experience it. I want to feel whole as a little boy that I used to be, because that's what I'm searching for as a human. That before I was broken, right? We're all looking for that. Who were you before you got broken? What was it? For me, it was a little 7-year-old boy. I used to go fish with my daddy. We did picnics at the church all the time. We'd go to the park, and I took my plate. We only get one. Everyone would tell me every time, "You only get one plate, son." Yep, I know. And I'd take it, and I'd run off to find the homeless on the park, and I'd give them my food. And I'd tell them, because there's this little scripture that just is stuck in my head since I was a little boy in the church, that Jesus said, "I was hungry and you didn't feed me." No way. No way I'm getting, because I died as a little boy and I met Jesus. And let me tell you about the man. I wasn't going to let him starve, because as a kid, I'm thinking, I know there's a man named Jesus. I met him and he's starving. I can't have him starve. And so this little boy had a heart that it was out of my chest. and I didn't care that I didn't eat. People in the church knew I was going to do that. So you know what people did? They would all take like one piece from their plate, one piece from their plate, and then they'd put it on a plate for me. And you know what I would do with it? I wouldn't eat it. I'd go give it to them. I eat 3 meals a day. I'm fine. I can miss a whole day of food and be okay. I want that is what I was chasing my whole life. And about 8 years ago, I got it. I figured it out. And I can honestly tell you right now that I forgive those men. I forgive them. And I love them like I love all the other people on earth. When I say it, I need to clarify. That doesn't mean I'm in love with what they did to me. That doesn't mean I'm in love with anything that happened. What happened was horrifying. What it means is I want to experience pure love. And to do that, I have to take all the hate out of my heart because you cannot understand love until you have no hatred. To do that, it's a searching inward. There's a scripture that says, "Know thyself." My dad used to teach us well. You all know I'm a fourth generational preacher. Know thyself, know thyself. He always walk around the house, know thyself, know thyself. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, to know God, you got to know yourself. God is in us, God is with us. We are one with God. I have to know myself. I have to know thyself, know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. How do I get to know thyself? So I started to search as a little boy. How do I know myself? And I realized that there was a lot of hatred built up. That one died. That person shouldn't have died. My friend took a gunshot. You guys have heard the story. Boom, right out the thing, 12 gauge meant for me. He jumped in front of it. We were 12 years old. How do I justify that? I don't. He's in my arms. I literally turned when it was over and I just handed this dead child, my friend, to his mom, who's just. How do you forgive those boys in that car? I didn't. I'll go one step further. I'm going to make everyone real awkward right now. Well, I've been to prison. I've been to counties. I've been to jails. I've been locked up by the best and the worst. And I went in always pretty much for something I did. But once I didn't. There was one time I didn't. And I was viciously, I had a stroke actually before I went in. I was viciously raped. Most guys can't talk about this, to be honest with you. And I can tell right now, I can even see some of the people going to be in the room here, and there's going to be a little, okay, a little awkward because it's not a topic that people like to talk about. But so I know some of you don't want to get into the real crap, so I'm going to dump it out for you so you can see it. I had to forgive that guy. And this is how I know that in 2017 I got it because literally that was on a Saturday night in a county jail and I was bailed out the next morning and taken to the hospital, transported up for a whole rape kit and all that wonderful experience that goes with it. At a place in the hospital that everybody knows me at, by the way, and my family and my kids, and there was my son was born there. I was a prominent figure in the community, one of the biggest, players in politics, and money wise, I mean, I got $6 million raised in that county for charities, and here I am going through this horrible thing, and I forgave him, and I could say that night, the next day, I forgave him. I had no hatred. I had no envy inside. I had no disgust. I had nothing. He had nothing I wanted, but just to be able to look at him eventually and say, I'm sorry that you did that, buddy, because I know it's eating you alive, probably. Because even though he might not admit that, I know the truth. Now, that monster ended up, unfortunately, dying himself, not by me. It had nothing to do with it. But you sow enough bad seed, it keeps coming back to you. People always, they're like, "Man, you're such a good person. Why does bad things happen to you?" And I just chuckle and go, "I got a long road behind me, and I made a lot of bad choices, and so I've sown a lot of bad seed, and that seed just keeps coming back in like the boomerang." Now, if eventually you sow enough good seed, then the good things start to come back. And all of a sudden, you start to see beautiful things happening, like the $1.1 million property that just got purchased, the 15.64 acres, the beautiful 5-acre orchard of apples and fruit trees, the other 10-acre swath with 4 new houses being built that'll house 40 men coming in and out of prison as we bring them. Stop going in and out, just come out and stay out in our program because we have a 0% recidivism rate. How about the 3 other homes that we have that are throughout the county that are doing the exact same thing right now, changing these lives? How about our staff in our nonprofit that are taking care of, I think, 205 or 207 people? I'm sitting there listening to Shelly, one of our executive directors, and Heather, one of our executive directors, and these two amazing ladies run this mental health firm with me. And what they tell us about the stories of these people and their brokenness and the pain and the suffering and what we do to help them. And I'm thinking, my God, the boomerang effect's happening right now. All the goods coming back. It's just flowing left and right. But none of that would have happened if I was still wishing that guy was dead for raping me. So if you're sitting in the seat right now and you're asking yourself this question, I wonder why my life sucks so much. Hmm. I'm going to say something that you're not going to like. It's most likely your own fault. I know what you're going to say. Who the hell are you to say that it's my fault? Was it my fault that I got raped? No, it wasn't. So whose fault? It's mine if I keep holding on to it. You see, there's a story once about 2 monks, and they took a vow never to speak to another human. And these 2 monks are walking along a river, and they see a woman, and she's by herself, and she's at the river, and she's crying. And the one monk says, "Ma'am, why are you crying?" And she says, "Because I can't get across the river." So the monk picks the woman up, carries her across the river, puts the woman down, and continues on the road. The other monk is with him also. The other monk, of course, never spoke. Now they said they would not speak to other people. They speak to each other, but they took a vow not to speak to any other person outside of the monastery. So they're like 4 miles down the road, and the younger monk looks at the older monk and he says, "How could you break your vow? How dare you break your vow?" And he says, "What are you talking about? That woman you picked up." And the old monk looks at him and says, "I put her down 4 miles ago. You're still carrying her. You're still carrying the pain by choice. I carried the pain for all those decades by choice. The physical abuse that I've endured, that wasn't my choice. Your being harmed is not your choice. But what I do with that pain is my choice. And that's on me. And I got it 8 years ago. And that's why I can smile at you now and share this story. I don't know if you remember the first time I shared this with the church. You can go back and see the message. I remember it. So 4.5 years ago. I had tears streaming down my eyes and snot bubbles coming out my face because it was the first time I shared it publicly. And it was so terrifying because I'm a man's man. I mean, I'm JB, the Irish Beast. It's all a facade. It's a joke. I'm just Jonathan, a little boy who wants to be experiencing this thing called true love. So that is where I'm going to wrap it up. You've got to search for that true love, but you're never going to find it. No drug, no sex, no person, no alcohol, no money, no new nothing. There's nothing you can do to feel that except that true love. And that true love comes from God. And it comes from within you because God is within you. That spirit that is in you came from God. And that spirit is waiting for you to experience that true love. and it's not easy. So next week, I'm going to talk to you about how to experience that. And I'm going to give you some steps that I believe could help you as it helped me. I can't tell you it's going to fix anything for you. I can just tell you what worked for me 8 years ago and what helped me be able to live for the last 8 years pain free in that respect. To be able to sit there and smile when I share my story that now helps heal other people. And that's what I get so angry with people when they say, well, God did this to make you have a testimony. Take that idea and you got it, shove it. God didn't do anything, He's not a puppet master. Y'all know I don't believe in that. Okay. But what was meant for evil can be used for good. I'm going to Mexico to help bring peace to three warring families where women and children on a daily basis are being slaughtered. I'm only able to do that because I was a very evil man. I made the devil look like a choir boy. And because of that evil that I sowed, I've paid a price, but I can also now take that evil I sowed and use it for good because those men respect me, value me, and I can get in their heads like no one else. I couldn't do that if I didn't have true love inside of me. And you can't have true love until you can come to peace with what's in here. And that includes your scars. And that's all of your scars, not some of them. I love you guys. Next week, I'm going to give you some steps to get through this process that worked for me. I hope they worked for you. I love you all. God bless you. The property, I go get the keys tomorrow for it, and we'll be showing you next month after the first all kinds of pictures and videos of the place and everything we're doing. We love you guys. For all of those that send in any offerings and money, as you all know, none of it goes to any of us. 100% of your donations will go to whatever cause you actually spearheaded. We have enough money to take care of ourselves and the people in our group. That's why all of our donations are not just a write-off, but they're 100% go to the program you wanted it to go to. Love you all so much. God bless. We'll see you later.